we rock, we're awesome, we're good, and we participate. What do we participate in? We participate in awareness-inducing activities. That is the nature of what Soul Center does, awareness-inducing activities, which means we cultivate the energy, the golden thread, found in all of the mystical teachings, and as it said in the writing, it's something where we want to move into, we want to demystify, and then I always like to say, and then we want to remystify, because when you own one of the mystical teachings, then it becomes that tangible, beautiful experience of God expressing through you. So we become aware of it, and then we start to embody it. That is the magnificence of our teachings, which follow that golden thread. As you know, we're part of the Agape Association of Communities, and that means we follow the golden thread found in all of the mystical teachings of all the religions and indigenous teachings from around the world, whether that is through shamanism or Buddhism or Hinduism, Judaism, Islam, Christianity. All of them have a mystical sect. And that's where we join in, because at that level, none of them are even concerned with the idea of separation that, oh, I'm a Jewish mystic, and oh, I'm a Christian mystic. It's like, no, we're mystics. We are mystics that participate in the recognition of the divine to, through, and as everything and everyone. And so welcome to Soul Center. If you are new here, I welcome you to our community, a community of love, a community of inclusion, a community of joy. And again, we participate in awareness-inducing activities, AIA. That's what we do. That's a new thing, a new group I'm going to start. And actually, that's what we do. That's what we participated. And we participated in, because part of our tenet is that we grow through love and through joy. That is one of the intentions that we all, because some people, believe it or not, you're not going to believe this, some people grow through arduousness and hardship and efforting and trying. And if you're doing that means there's a little modicum of resistance in there. And so we just want to open up. And we don't make anything bad or wrong. We don't make resistance bad or wrong. We don't make anything bad or wrong. We bring it into the light. And when you bring anything into the light, you bring it into the love, joy field. Some things take a little bit longer than others, and we'll talk about that in a little bit as we are getting ready to celebrate or continue the celebration of our theme of the month, which is Make Your Own Luck, because we know that luck is a byproduct of our disciplined participation in the exploitation of God. We exploit God, we exploit good, and we exploit the energy of our soul. That's what we do here, and we honor the goodness back of all of that. The topic for today is the fast and the curious. A lot of us are living a life that is the fast and the furious, like those movies, of which I've not seen any of them, but it kind of conjures up this idea that I'm like, oh, let's go fast, and sometimes it's like furious, and then sometimes you get furious, and I'm assuming, I don't know, that doesn't sound too good to me. But the fast and the curious is about fasting, where you take a moment and you allow yourself to move in, you step away from moving fast and going fast, and you move into what sometimes I refer to as going from the desert to the deserts. Because oftentimes in Scripture you heard Moses went up to Mount Sinai 40 days and 40 nights. Jesus went out to the desert for 40 days and 40 nights. There was Noah, 40 days and 40 nights. Sometimes we're propelled, sometimes we are cosmically kicked in the keister into a place where we must go into fasting, and we don't like to do that. Sometimes something comes up into our life. I had a client once who came to me out of pure desperation. He had a trifecta of things that had gone terribly wrong in his life according to the situations and circumstances and his interpretations of them. One was that his wife decided that they were no longer compatible and asked for a divorce. The second was that he was let go from his job. And then the third was, on top of all of this happened within a week. He was diagnosed with diabetes. And so he was kind of feeling really at the end of his rope. And a lot of us, we wait till we get to the end of the rope before we actually seek what we carry with us everywhere we go. The answer to liberation, the answer to freedom, the answer to joy. We carry it with us everywhere we go. It's like the unpacked suitcase that we carry with us. Like, oh my God, I carry with me the kingdom of heaven, all the answers to everything. But I'm just going to keep on going fast and furious when I should be fasting and being curious. We want to be divinely curious. We don't want the curiosity that killed the cat. We don't want the curiosity that killed the cat that is brought on by the ego that likes to sometimes move about and find things that are pleasurable as opposed to enjoyable. You know, there's a difference between things that we, yearnings of the heart and desires of the carnal, of the flesh. We want to become very aware of that. That's in our awareness-inducing activities. One of the very first things we want to become aware of is our own self. And that's what fasting is for. That's what going into the desert is for. So we can willingly choose. So, you know, if you look at the biochemistry of fasting, what does fasting do for your body? It gives your body time to recalibrate. So if you were to go on a juice fast or a food fast, what you're doing is you're giving your body a place to cleanse of toxins, and you're giving your that safe to recalibrate. So you can recalibrate. So we're fasting for particular foods. We might fast from sugar, and it seems appropriate as we're in the season of Lent right now. You know, and that's what we want to give something up. But in our awareness-inducing activities, we want to become aware of, am I participating in anything that is creating discord, despair, disharmony in my beingness? And so that's what fasting does. It allows us to move into a place where we can detoxify. We want to detoxify our emotions. We want to detoxify our mind. We probably want to detoxify our mind the most. And I'm going to just go out on a limb here. You've probably heard me say it before. But unless you are blissed out of your gourd and feel the holy presence of God upon you everywhere, these will be the clues. You will be of service all the time. You will feel good all the time. You will not be attached to anything carnal of the world all the time. So those are some of the clues of being in the world and not of the world. You will have when you're really at the high spectrum, you won't even be eating food. You will be, it's a true thing, a breatharian, where you live off of divine life force energy, and you don't need that. There's a progression that the saints and the masters go through, all of them do. But first, we gotta start with maybe getting off sugar. We gotta get off sugar. We gotta get off of caffeine. Well, caffeine's not too bad, but it's the acid in coffee. I don't want to bring it down or anybody who likes their coffee, but you know, it's got acid in it. It leaches minerals from your bones. That's a whole different topic. We're not going to go there. So, as someone who, I used to drink a whole lot of coffee, but now, as you won't need it, because life force will be that which moves you and grooves you, and that, I'm assuming, that sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Sometimes you have to open up to the awareness. So, as Vaughn was in the reading talking about the mysteries. So there are mysteries, and I always like to say, so if you were to go to the North Star of divine illumination, this is being in the world, but not of the world. Right up here, I am aware, I am enlightened, I am completely one with the divine, and yet I still have a body, I'm still here, I don't have to eat, I don't have to go to the bathroom, I am of service, and I am blissed out of my gourd. So that's up here, and then we're somewhere in here, and we're on our way to there, because as you know in our teaching, the chosen people, and this is the misconception of Judaism, the chosen people is not about, oh, the Jewish people are the chosen people. That's not what that meant. What it means is you choose to be enlightened. That's how you become the chosen person. So, as with all religious misinterpretations, things get out there and convolute things, and then people literally take things from the Bible as though it's literal, and we know that that's not true because about 90% of what's in Scripture is metaphor. You have to, were you around? Well, actually, you kind of were, because we know in quantum science that there is no past, present, or future, and everything's happening all at the same time. So you can, one of those mysteries would be to be in the oneness of knowing, because what I was about to say is, were you there 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years ago when Scripture was being written and you know all the idiomatic expressions and how that feels? And so the answer is yes and no. Because until you know that, then it's not true. But once you know it, then it's true. And that is the way of the spiritual unfolding of our evolution. And so we want to become cognizant of the desert to the deserts. The desert to the deserts is that guy, my client who came to me that had the trifecta. We had to go into the desert. When you go into the desert, the metaphor of going into the desert is, when you think about a desert, it's bleak, it's barren, it's not filled with lots of distractions, it's very still, it's quiet. That's what going into the desert means. That's what fasting is. So when you go into the desert, you're giving yourself a space, as Arne was saying earlier, so we can start to find out, I think you were saying, or I just perceived it, that where we get to kind of commune with the things that are going to bubble up, some of our discomforts and our erroneous ideas and beliefs that are kept in here. And so long before the dissolution of the marriage, long before the dissolution of the job, long before the decline in the health, there were plenty of signs for this gentleman to seek and behold the kingdom of heaven in his life. And so without making that bad or wrong, because that's just going to add insult to injury, if I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't listen to the signs. I'm going to sit here and spin out on that for a couple of days. I'm like, no, that's not the point. The point is, in the beginning is the Word. In the beginning is the light. In the beginning is the eternal. And every moment of every day, we get to go into the beginning. So that's what I did with him. It's like, okay, come on, let's go into the beginning. Let's go into the beginning and see what's seeking to emerge. What's seeking to emerge in your life, no matter what the condition, no matter what the circumstance. We're all headed here. We're all going to encounter things along the journey, and we're going to be asked sometimes very gently to go into the desert or to fast from the world of effects. And we want to remember, keenly remember, we want to remember something. We want to remember that the world cannot give you what you seek. The world cannot give you what you seek. What you seek will give you the world. What you seek will give you the world. And so there are a lot of us seeking. I like that. Yes. What you seek will give you the world. And so we want to make sure when we go into fasting, we're going to find out we've been seeking things to our dismay and to our disadvantage. Because when you adopt an erroneous idea or an erroneous belief, which is separation from God, the minute you participate and, oh, they're this, or, maybe in his case, he was like, oh, my wife, she doesn't understand me. Because when we go into the desert, those things will bubble up. And it's like, oh, she doesn't understand me. And then if you pull on that thread, you're going to find out, oh, the world doesn't understand me. Life doesn't support me. And so we get to the end of that thread, and then we find out this is what we're here to transmute. Because there is no such thing in the realm of God of not being supported. There is no such thing in the realm of God of any discord or disharmony. We are here to go here and cultivate our way to that in our awareness-inducing activities. So am I participating in things that are because separating me from that? Am I participating in disawareness, where I'm like, oh, well, let me just be distracted by the world and think that the world is where I'm going to get my food, is where I'm going to get my answers. You're not going to get your food from the world. The world is in a direct response to your inner beingness and your beliefs. So you will see exactly what you believe out into the world, which is why Jesus said, pray ye believing, which means you got to back up and go to the believing part. And remember that beliefs are a coagulation of ideas and choices that you made somewhere along the line. And oftentimes, they play out in a way that we don't like. And so I'm a big fan of loving things and liking things and having fun, because that's why we're here. We're here to be of service. We're here to have joy. We're here to experience the most magnificent adventure. There is so much going on this planet, just on planet Earth. I was reading an article the other day, how they're looking, the big thing in astronomy right now, and the science of all this is they're looking for what they now know. They've gone from wondering if there's life on other planets to there is life on other planets, because they see millions and millions of Earth habitat environments on these faraway, distant, not only planets in our own solar galaxy, not solar system, galaxy, but also in other galaxies. And so it's just a matter of time before that becomes an all-inclusive awareness that we'll be experiencing. But that kind of doesn't really matter right now, because what matters is your world and your universe and what you are seeking to experience and express. And so we want to move into the fasting mode, because you'll either be cosmically kicked into fasting, and you'll have to go into the desert unwilling, kicking and screaming, or you can say like, hey, I'm going to go on that spring meditation retreat, and I'm going to allow myself to go into the desert, although it's not really the desert. I know, a little plug there. Or, be here at Soul Center or any of the other activities that are awareness-inducing. We want to participate in these things where it's so much fun. It's so much fun. So when we started to pull on the thread as I was working with him, we started to find out all of the stuff that had been building up in the subconscious, in the cellular memory of his beingness. And we were able to clear it in joyous and beautiful ways. Now, there was a little resistance at first. There was a little kicking and screaming. Most of us resist, because one of the fundamental core ideas is that if we start to move towards those things, if I go to the desert and something does bubble up, it's going to destroy me. No, it's going to liberate you. We've all heard it. When you confront your fears, you're just going to walk straight through. It might be a little unnerving, but it will grow you beyond your wildest dreams. And having done it no less than probably, 6 dozen times already. And there's been times I've been brought to my knees because the energy comes up and it quivers as it's transmuting out of your beingness. There's been times where my body has called me, my situations have called me, illness has called me, and then I say, okay, how am I to be liberated? So we want to be able to go to the desert, we want to go into the fast and the curious, because the curious part is where we inquire. We inquire to know, what is it that will liberate me? What is it that will grow me? What is it that will transform? Because we all want to be transformed. So if, once in a while we get caught in the mediocre, mundane trappings of daily life, where we're trapped in our job, or maybe we're trapped in our goals, or whatever it is, or maybe we're trapped in believing whatever the medical institutions have programmed into our beingness, and it's like, no, what you choose, that's empowerment. And again, we want to be mindful along the way as we're choosing these things in our awareness-inducing activities, that there's no hurry and there's no fury. So we can take it nice and slow in a way that your heart will just absolutely rejoice in. There's no hurry in God. If you're hurrying, you're furying, and if you're hurrying and furying, you are thwarting the presence. So we want to be able to be calm and be still and allow ourselves to go fast, whether that's literally, fasting from sugar or various other unhealthy foods, which gives your body a chance to recalibrate, or fasting from gossiping, or fasting from social media, not except for when you're doing our soul center Horwitz. The one exception. But we want to make sure that we want to become our awareness induced, like, where am I being taken away from my soul, from myself? And where am I allowing myself to believe that something's not possible? Because if it's come into your awareness, it's possible. Everything is possible. We want everything. Our community participates in benevolent possibilities. We want the infinite benevolent possibilities, because in the world of effects, you can have all kinds of possibilities, and some of those are malevolent, only because we choose them to be that way. There are no malevolent forces. The only force is the force of God, the force of light, but you have free choice in this dimension, in this realm, and until you're here, you might be here, and on our way to here, we want to make sure that we participate in those things. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to go ahead and we're going to pray attention. I want you to pray attention to what's going on in your life. Pray attention to your bills. Pray attention to your pray check. We want to become prayerfully aware. We want to also participate in pray per view. Pray per view is where you start to allow the world to reflect back to you the truth of what you are seeking. We will seek that. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to invite you to go ahead and just turn within and bring your hands to your heart. And I just want you, as we set the tone, without figuring or analyzing or judging, but allowing our hearts to be benevolently and beautifully vulnerable, only vulnerable to good. What is something that you would like to experience, to have, to express? Anything at all, without editing it or judging it. Just allow yourself to commune. What is it that you would like to experience or express or have or know? And then I want you to just check in with some self-awareness. Check in and feel like, does the energy around that feel like, yes, it's mine? Or does it feel like there's an excuse ready to bubble up as to why that can't happen? Either way, I want you to just become aware. Is there an excuse bubbling up? And if there is, we're going to bring that into the prayer field. And if there's a feeling of yes, we're going to amplify that. Either way, we bring that into the prayer field. We take a moment as we hold, that would bring us so much joy, so much good, so much happiness, so much wellness, so much goodness. And we know that we are not alone, that any resistance is just a little concern, a little worry from the ego. So we let that go. If there's any concern or worry about disappointment, we let that go. And we open into this field of prayer, and that very thing that we hold in our heart, that we allow ourselves to be so benevolently vulnerable to, we take a moment. I'm going to invite you to bring your hands off your heart, but into an open space of receptivity, palms up and open, heart wide open. And as we hold this, I'm going to invite you to join me as we move into prayer. We move into prayer at this particular moment, knowing that the omnipotent, omnipresent light and love of God that loves us and knows us better than we love and know ourselves, that which is seeking to emerge through us as grace, beauty, joy, and the energy of benevolent satiation for our truest heart's desires are impossible to have without the fulfillment potential there. So we open to that. We open to the knowing that great and grand and glorious magnificence, where all the mysteries of the entire universe reside, the answers to everything, in the furthest reaches of the farthest galaxies, amongst the stars and the planets, to the closest, most beautiful, intimate recesses of our cells, our bones, and our tissues. We open to that. We allow ourselves to be vulnerable to the holy light and the heart and the love of God, and to remember the truth of our own divinity, that as we are born in the very image, the very likeness of God, we allow ourselves to remember that, to feel it. We bring the very thing we hold in our heart right now into a field of benevolent satiation and divine fulfillment. We know, as it states in the sacred text, that it is God's good pleasure to bring forward the kingdom of heaven to, through, for, and as you, as me. We open into that, and we allow ourselves to be fortified with a divine strength, with an optimism, with a faith, and we choose to seek and find everything that benevolently supports this. This is the prayer. We participate in the omni-active portion of prayer, where it becomes alive into and through and as us. We are the ones that bring it into the world. We are the portal of the divine expression. And so I'm grateful to know that as we bathe in the energy of divine fulfillment and benevolent satiation, that we allow it to fortify us with optimism, with divine receptivity, divine expectancy, faith, and joy. And it is from this place of grace and gratitude that we allow this to grow and glow beyond our wildest dreams, and we ground it into the field of the material, into the material world. We ground it to Mother Earth, to Gaia. This is where it is fulfilled. This is where it is tangible. And so I'm grateful to know that as we hold this and we ground the highest, greatest, grandest vision and version beyond our surface mind's ability to perceive, and we allow something good, something magnificent. I'm grateful that we have all chosen to honor this, and we gratefully allow it to be, bringing our hands into prayer position as we close in on that energy. And we let it be, claiming it so, by saying, and so it is. And so I let it be. Amen. 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 Ashe. Aho. Shalom. Hotep. And hallelujah. Yes. All right. Not so difficult to go into the desert. Not so difficult to go into a fasting consciousness. Sometimes we have to expand it a little more. We have to expand it where we give ourselves more time to be in that field. And as the ushers come forward, we're going to move into the expansive field of tithing and circulation. And remembering that as we all participate in circulation, that it is not my money that I am circulating, it is the divine flow of life force energy that shows up as money that we are circulating. And as we give, we receive, and we allow the principle of tithing to return to us minimally, 100-fold. And I'm grateful to know this is how we participate, to choose in circulation, in tithing, and we let it be. Thank you, Usher.